There's something strange in these files, Tahoe said, looking at the screen in front of him. 2 days had passed since the failed meeting. The Vassar had shared some of their records about Earth as a gesture of good faith. Tahoe and Hiram were going through them in a small room at Earth Defense Headquarters. "What did you find?" Hiram asked, moving closer to look at his screen. "Look at this classification code here." Tahoe pointed to a string of alien symbols. Based on their system, Earth was marked as Class D, non-developing world. Hiram frowned. Non-developing. That can't be right. Even 500 years ago, humans were building ships, creating art, and developing new technologies. Exactly. Tahoe pulled up another file. But look at the original survey notes. The Vassar team reported seeing stone castles, metal weapons, and primitive sailing ships. Those are signs of development. Tahoe nodded. The survey team recommended Earth be classified as Class C, slow developing world. That would have required follow-up surveys every 100 years. Hiram's eyes widened as she understood. But someone changed the classification. And once it was marked as non-developing, no one ever checked again. Tahoe leaned back in his chair. It was a clerical error. Someone in their bureaucracy made a mistake. A mistake that might lead to war, Hiram said softly. Tahoe opened another file. There's more. Look at these budget reports from their space survey department. Funding cuts, year after year. They were supposed to conduct millions of surveys, but they only had resources for a fraction of that. So they prioritized the promising worlds and ignored the ones labeled as non-developing, Hiram concluded. Like Earth. They were interrupted by a message from Captain Park. The Vassar have requested another meeting. Tomorrow on Harmony *. Same team as before. Tahoe and Hiram exchanged looks. This was their chance. The meeting room on Harmony * felt tense. High Administrator Zenlo sat with his team, looking less confident than before. "We wish to continue our discussions," Zenlo began. "Perhaps we can find a settlement that benefits both our peoples." Before Captain Park could respond, Tahoe spoke up. "High Administrator, I believe there's been a misunderstanding. May I explain?" Zenlo blinked his 4 eyes in surprise but nodded. Tahoe displayed the files he had found on the main screen. "According to your own records, Earth was originally classified as a slow-developing world by your survey team. But somewhere in your bureaucracy, this was changed to non-developing." The young, dark-skinned Vassar looked down, clearly uncomfortable. "This error meant no follow-up surveys were conducted," Tahoe continued. "According to galactic law, Section 12C of the Colonization Code, any world showing signs of developing intelligence must be monitored regularly. Failure to do so invalidates any colonization claim." The room went silent. Zenlo's skin turned a darker blue, a sign of distress, Tahoe guessed. "How did you access these records?" Zenlo finally asked. "You gave them to us," Hiram said. "In your data package. Did you not check what you were sharing?" The young Vassar spoke up for the first time. "I compiled the package. I included everything. It was the right thing to do." Zenlo turned all 4 eyes to the young alien. "Velta, you had no authority." "She had moral authority," Tahoe interrupted. "Your claim on our system is based on a clerical error and administrative oversight. By your own laws, it's invalid." Zenlo stood up, towering over everyone. "This changes nothing. We have invested too much. 10,000 colonists. Resources. Years of planning. We cannot simply turn back because of an ancient filing error." Captain Park rose to meet his gaze. "Then we have a problem, because we will not give up our system." The meeting ended in another stalemate. But as the Vassar delegation was leaving, the young alien, Velta, lingered behind. "The High Administrator is under great pressure," she said quietly to Tahoe. "Our world is crowded. Resources are scarce. Returning empty-handed would end his career." "That's not our problem," Hiram said, stepping forward protectively. it will become your problem. Velta replied sadly, because Zenlo will not give up easily, and he has called for military support. As Velta hurried after her group, Tahoe and Hiram looked at each other with new worry in their eyes. "We need to tell Captain Park," Tahoe said. "The Vassar aren't just here to talk. They're preparing for a fight." 6 hours after the Vassar ship appeared, Commander Tahoe Kim found himself in a large meeting room at Earth Defense Headquarters. Around the table sat the most powerful people on Earth: military leaders, government officials, and scientists. They all looked worried. "The aliens want to meet face to face," said Captain Ju Park. She stood at the head of the table, her uniform neat and crisp. "They have requested a neutral meeting place." "This could be a trap," said a general, his face stern. "Or a chance for peace," replied a woman in civilian clothes. "We can't start an interstellar war on our first contact." Captain Park nodded. "We need someone who can understand them." "Commander Kim, your file says you studied sinolinguistics." Tahoe sat up straight. "Yes, Captain. I specialized in theoretical alien language structures." "Good. You're on the first contact team." Tahoe felt his heart race. This was both exciting and terrifying. "The meeting will take place on our space station, Harmony *." Captain Park continued. "You'll leave in 1 hour. Your job is to understand their true intentions." As the meeting ended, a woman approached Tahoe. She was shorter than him, with short black hair and sharp eyes. "Lieutenant Hiram Kang," she said, extending her hand. "I'm the tactical specialist on the first contact team." Her handshake was firm. "Don't let their fancy words fool you, Commander. My job is to make sure they don't try anything sneaky." Tahoe nodded. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." The space station Harmony * floated between Earth and the alien ship. It was designed for international cooperation, with a large circular meeting room at its center. Tahoe, Hiram, and 3 others waited nervously. When the aliens entered, Tahoe was struck by how tall they were. High Administrator Zenlo stood at least 7 feet tall. 4 other aliens followed, all wearing silver uniforms that seemed to flow like water. "Welcome to Harmony *" said Captain Park, who led the human delegation. The translation devices on both sides worked well enough for basic communication. "We appreciate your hospitality," said Zenlo, "though this situation remains most irregular." Everyone sat down. The aliens moved gracefully despite the lower gravity. "Let us be direct," Zenlo continued. "According to galactic law, Section 7B of the Colonization Code, we have legal claim to this system. Our survey was properly filed and approved." Captain Park's face remained calm, but Tahoe could see her knuckles turn white as she gripped her tablet. "Your survey is outdated," she replied. "You failed to notice that Earth was home to an advancing civilization." Zenlo blinked his 4 eyes in sequence again. "A most unfortunate oversight. However, the legal claim remains valid. We propose a compromise. We will take the outer planets of your system, leaving Earth undisturbed." Hiram leaned forward. "That's not a compromise. Those planets are ours too." "By what right?" asked a female Vassar with lighter skin. "You barely have the technology to reach them. We have 10,000 colonists in stasis who need homes." Tahoe studied the aliens carefully. There was something off about their story. Why would they invest so much in colonizing a system without checking it first? "May I ask when your last survey was conducted?" Tahoe asked. "As stated, 500 cycles ago," Zenlo replied. "And no follow-up surveys were done." The aliens looked at each other. Tahoe noticed a subtle change in their posture. "Follow-up surveys are not required by law," said Zenlo, but his voice wavered slightly. "But they are standard procedure, aren't they?" Tahoe pressed. One of the other aliens, younger looking with darker skin, shifted uncomfortably. Captain Park caught on quickly. "Commander Kim, what are you suggesting?" "I believe there's more to this story than we're being told," Tahoe said. 500 years is a long time to leave a potential colony unchecked. High Administrator Xenlo stood abruptly. These accusations are unhelpful. We came to discuss terms, not to be questioned about our procedures. As the aliens walked out, Hiram leaned close to Tahoe. You hit a nerve there, she whispered. Good job. Tahoe wasn't sure if it was good or bad. The meeting had ended with tension high on both sides. As he watched the aliens leave, the young, dark-skinned Vasar looked back at him with what seemed like guilt. We need to find out what they're hiding, Tahoe said, because I don't think they're telling us the whole truth. Captain Park nodded grimly. And until we know the truth, we need to prepare for the worst. How much time do we have? Captain Juu Park asked, her face grim. The command center was filled with military leaders and government officials. On the main screen, images from Hiram's mission played, showing the Vasar's mining equipment and weapons. Based on their communications, the Vasar battle fleet will arrive in 7 days, Director Junot answered. He looked tired, with dark circles under his eyes. 6 warships, each larger than their colony ship. Tahoe studied the faces around the room. Everyone looked worried, and with good reason. Earth had ships and orbital defenses, but nothing designed for a war with an advanced alien civilization. What about evacuation? Someone asked. Evacuate to where? Captain Park replied. This is our home. Our only home. We need to defend it. She turned to a scientist in the corner. Dr. Yuna, what's the status of Project Bulwark? The woman stood up. The shield technology is still experimental. We've been studying the alien debris found on the moon for years, but we've never tested the shields at full scale. Now would be a good time, Captain Park said. Dr. Yuna nodded. We'll need to install the shield generators on our orbital platforms and major ships. It will take at least 4 days of non-stop work. You have 3, Captain Park said. Lieutenant Kang, you'll coordinate our strike teams. We need people trained for space combat, ready to board enemy vessels if necessary. Hiram stood at attention. Yes, Captain. And Commander Kim. Tahoe looked up at Captain Park. Continue working with Belta. We need every bit of information about Vasar technology and tactics, especially their weaknesses. 3 days later, Tahoe met Velta in a quiet garden section of Harmony Station. The Vasar scientist looked nervous, constantly checking if anyone was watching them. The battle fleet has left light speed, she said quietly. They will arrive sooner than expected. 4 days, not 7. Tahoe's heart sank. Why are you telling me this? You're risking everything. Velta's 4 eyes looked at him steadily. Because this conflict is wrong. It's based on a mistake, driven by greed, and it will cost many lives on both sides. She handed him a small device. This contains information about our ships, their shield frequencies, weapon systems, and, she hesitated, a way to disrupt our communications network. Tahoe took the device carefully. Velta, this is treason against your people. I'm trying to save my people, not betray them, she replied. If this turns into a full war, no one wins. The Galactic Concord will eventually intervene, and both our species will suffer. As Tahoe reached for the device, their hands touched briefly. Something passed between them. A connection, an understanding. Thank you, Tahoe said softly. Velta's skin flushed a lighter blue. I should go before I'm missed. As she turned to leave, she added, Be careful, Tahoe. War Commander Zurgan is known for unexpected tactics, and he has never lost a battle. Meanwhile, on Earth's moon base, Hiram watched as soldiers trained in zero-gravity combat. They wore new battle suits designed using information from Vasar technology. Again, she ordered as a team practice boarding procedures. You need to be faster. The Vasar are 7 feet tall and stronger than humans. Your advantage is speed and adaptability. A young soldier approached her. Lieutenant, is it true we're facing 6 warships? How can we possibly win? Hiram looked at the concerned faces around her. They were all thinking the same thing. We don't need to destroy them all, she said firmly. We just need to show them that taking Earth will cost too much. Even advanced aliens will retreat if the price is too high. Later, in her quarters, Hiram studied the Vassar battle tactics that Tahoe had shared from Velta. She found something interesting. The Vassar fleet moved in strict formations, following rules that hadn't changed in centuries. They lack improvisation, she muttered to herself. They follow patterns. She immediately called Tahoe. I think I've found a weakness. The Vassar military is too rigid, too predictable. If we do the unexpected. Tahoe smiled on the screen. Humans are good at unexpected. It's what we do best. As they discussed strategy, alarms suddenly blared throughout the base. What's happening? Hiram asked a passing officer. The answer made her blood run cold. The Vassar battle fleet just appeared in orbit. They're here early, and they're targeting our defense platforms. The war had begun before they were ready. Commander Tahoe Kim felt cold. The cryosleep pod hissed as it opened. His eyes blinked slowly, adjusting to the dim blue light of the awakening chamber. The Korean research vessel Sejong had been his home for the past 8 months, most of which he had spent frozen in deep sleep. Commander Kim, welcome back, said the ship's AI in a calm voice. We have reached Earth orbit. Tahoe sat up, his muscles stiff. He had done this many times before during training, but it never got easier. The cold lingered in his bones. Ship status, he asked, his voice rough from disuse. All systems normal, the AI replied. However, there is an unexpected situation. That got Tahoe's attention. AIs were not programmed to hesitate. Show me, he ordered. A screen lit up on the wall. Tahoe stared at it, then blinked hard, sure his eyes were playing tricks on him. But the image remained unchanged. There, hanging in Earth orbit, was a massive ship. It was unlike anything humans had ever built. Its shape reminded Tahoe of a giant silver leaf, smooth and elegant, at least 5 kilometers long. Next to it, the Sejong was like a tiny fish beside a whale. How long has it been there? Tahoe asked, already pulling on his uniform. It appeared 23 minutes ago. It seems to have used some form of faster-than-light travel. There was a flash of light, and then it was simply there. Tahoe's heart pounded. First contact. Humanity had speculated about this moment for centuries. But why now? Why during his mission? Have they sent any messages? Yes, they are broadcasting on all frequencies in over 200 different languages. None of them are from Earth. Tahoe ran to the bridge. The rest of the crew was waking up too, their faces showing the same mix of fear and wonder that he felt. Status of Earth Defense Forces, he asked, dropping into the captain's chair. All stations on high alert. Orbital platforms have weapons locked on the alien vessel. On the main screen, Tahoe could see Earth's defense ships moving into position. Humanity had reached the stars 50 years ago, building a small but strong fleet. Now, those ships looked tiny beside the alien giant. They're hailing us directly now, said Sumi, the communications officer. Her face was pale. Put them through, Tahoe ordered, straightening his back. The screen flickered, and then showed the inside of the alien ship. Tahoe fought to keep his face neutral. The alien had gray-blue skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its mouth was small, and it had no visible nose. When it spoke, its voice was deep and melodic. Greetings, vessel of Earth. I am High Administrator Xenlo of the Vassar Collective. We come to claim this world as outlined in Section 7B of the Galactic Colonization Code. Tahoe felt ice in his veins that had nothing to do with cryosleep. This is Commander Tahoe Kim of the Earth research vessel Sejong. Earth is not available for colonization. It is our homeworld. The alien blinked its 4 eyes in sequence, a gesture that seemed to show surprise. Impossible. Our survey showed only primitive life forms on this planet. Your species was barely using metal tools. When was this survey done? Asked Taho, a sinking feeling in his stomach. 500 standard cycles ago. The proper time period for colonization preparation. Taho exchanged glances with his crew. 500 years ago, humans were in the medieval period. Much has changed since then, Taho said carefully. As you can see, we are now a spacefaring civilization. The alien skin darkened slightly. This is most irregular. Our records mark this system for colonization. Resources have been allocated. The colony ship carries 10,000 settlers. Before Taho could respond, a new message came through from Earth Command. Commander Kim, this is Captain Ju Park of the United Earth Defense Force. We're taking over communications with the alien vessel. Stand by. On the screen, Taho could see Earth's defense fleet moving into attack formation. The first contact with aliens was quickly becoming a standoff. We welcome peaceful contact. Captain Park's voice was firm as she addressed the alien ship. But we will defend our planet if necessary. High Administrator Xenlo's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. It seems, the alien said slowly, that we have made a grave error. 3 days had passed since Earth's forces disabled 2 Vassar warships. The remaining 4 alien vessels had pulled back to a safe distance. It was a standoff. Neither side was attacking, but neither was leaving either. In a quiet meeting room on Harmony Station, Taho sat across from Velta. This meeting was official now. Captain Park had arranged it after the Vassar requested talks. War Commander Zergan is furious, Velta said. Her voice was low even though they were alone. But High Administrator Xenlo is worried. Losing 2 warships was unexpected. So what happens now? Taho asked. The Vassar High Command has been informed. They're concerned about the cost of this mission. Our other colonies need protection too, and with 2 ships disabled. Taho leaned forward, so they might leave. Not without something to show for it. The Xanthium. The door opened, and Hiram walked in. She looked tired but determined. Sorry I'm late. The repair crews needed direction. Taho made space for her at the table. He had noticed that Hiram always sat close to him these days. He didn't mind. As I was saying, Velta continued, the Vassar need the Xanthium. They won't simply leave, but perhaps there's another solution, a political one. Taho raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? The Galactic Concord. Velta said the words like they were important. It's an organization of spacefaring species. They set rules for how different civilizations interact, like the United Nations, but for space. Hiram asked. Similar, yes. The Vassar are members, which means they must follow certain rules. Rules they have broken in this conflict. Taho's eyes widened. You mean we can file a complaint? Against the Vassar. Velta's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Exactly. I've been studying the Concord laws carefully. The Vassar have violated at least 17 different protocols in their attempted colonization of your system. Hiram looked skeptical. And these space politicians will just believe us over the Vassar. They have to investigate any formal complaint, Velta explained. And she hesitated, I can provide evidence of the violations. Taho reached out and touched her hand. That's a huge risk for you. Velta's skin turned a lighter blue. Some things are worth the risk. The moment stretched between them until Hiram cleared her throat. So how do we file this complaint? Later that day, Taho and Hiram presented the plan to Captain Park and Earth's leaders. The room was divided. Some wanted to continue fighting. Others thought diplomacy was worth trying. The Vassar have superior technology, Taho argued. Yes, we've held them off so far, but we don't know if we can do it forever. The Galactic Concord offers another way. Why would they help us? The general asked. We're not members of this Concord. Because the rules have been broken, Taho explained. And from what Velta has told us, The Concorde takes rule-breaking very seriously. Captain Park studied the information on her tablet. According to this, the Vassar violated protocols about proper survey procedures, notification of intelligent species, peaceful first contact, and unauthorized military action. Among others, Tahoe added, 17 in total. After hours of debate, they agreed to try the diplomatic approach while maintaining military readiness. Earth would file a formal complaint with the Galactic Concorde. Tahoe and Hiram worked late into the night, drafting the complaint with Velta's help. The document had to follow specific formats and cite exact violations. As they worked, Tahoe noticed Hiram watching him and Velta with a strange expression. "Is something wrong?" he asked when Velta left to get reference materials. Hiram looked away. "No, it's just, you two seem close. She's risking everything to help us." "I know." Hiram sighed. "It's not that. It's, never mind. We should focus on the complaint." When Velta returned, they continued working. By morning, the document was complete, a formal accusation against the Vassar Collective for unlawful actions against Earth. "Now we need to transmit it to the Concorde headquarters," Velta said. "How?" Hiram asked. "We don't have faster-than-light communication technology." Velta smiled, all four eyes crinkling at the corners. "I do. I can send it through the Vassar network. They won't know until it's too late." As Velta prepared to send the message, Tahoe looked at Hiram. Something had changed between them in the last few days. Amid the chaos of war, he had grown to admire her strength, her intelligence, her unwavering loyalty to Earth. "If this works," Hiram said softly, "we might actually win without more fighting." "And if it doesn't?" Tahoe asked. She met his eyes. "Then we fight, together." The moment was interrupted by Velta's excited voice. The command center shook as another blast hit the orbital defenses. On the main screen, 6 massive Vassar warships fired bright blue beams at Earth's platforms and ships. "Shield status," Captain Park demanded. "Holding at 62%, an officer replied. "The experimental bulwark technology is working, but it won't last forever." Earth's defense fleet looked tiny compared to the alien ships. The largest Vassar warship was at the center of their formation, a massive vessel shaped like a pointed oval. Tahoe recognized it from Velta's information as the command ship. "That's War Commander Zergan's flagship," he said, pointing. Captain Park nodded. "Focus all counterattacks on the smaller vessels first. We can't match their firepower, but we can disrupt their formation." Earth's ships moved quickly, firing missiles and energy weapons. The Vassar ships stayed in their rigid pattern, responding with overwhelming force but missing the faster human vessels. Director Junho entered the command center, holding a tablet. "The communication disruptor is ready. Based on Velta's information, it should temporarily block their ability to coordinate attacks." "Activate it," Captain Park ordered. A pulse of invisible energy spread across the battlefield. Immediately, the perfect Vassar formation began to falter. Their attacks became less coordinated. "It's working," someone shouted. But their victory was short-lived. Within minutes, the Vassar adapted, switching to backup systems. "They're regrouping," Tahoe said grimly, "and our shields are down to 41%. The situation looked desperate. Earth's defenses were weakening, and the Vassar fleet was overwhelming them with superior technology and firepower. Then Tahoe's communication device beeped. It was Velta. "Tahoe, listen carefully." Her voice was hushed and urgent. "The command ship's lower quadrant has a cooling vent for their main weapon. It's a weakness in their design. A direct hit there could disable their primary systems temporarily. Can we trust this information?" Captain Park asked after Tahoe shared it. "We don't have much choice," Hiram replied. She had just arrived from the moon base with her strike team. "Permission to take the stealth ship *Baekdu* for a direct attack, Captain." Captain Park hesitated only briefly. "Granted. But this is a one-way mission, Lieutenant. You understand that?" Hiram nodded firmly. My team is ready. The Vectu was Earth's newest stealth vessel, small and fast with advanced cloaking technology. Hiram and a team of 6 soldiers piloted it through the chaos of battle, staying hidden from Vassar sensors. There's the cooling vent, Hiram said, pointing at a small opening on the massive command ship's underside. It's heavily shielded, but if we get close enough. One of her team members, a weapons specialist, nodded. The new missiles should penetrate the shield if fired from short range, but we'll have to drop our cloak to fire, which means we'll have about 3 seconds before they target us. Hiram finished. Everyone ready. The team braced themselves as the Vectu moved silently under the giant warship. In position. Dropping cloak on my mark. Hiram took a deep breath. 3, 2, 1 mark. The stealth field disappeared. The Vectu fired 2 missiles directly at the cooling vent. Then Hiram slammed the ship into reverse, reactivating the cloak as fast as possible. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the missiles hit their target. A huge explosion rocked the Vassar command ship. Blue energy sparked across its hull. Direct hit, someone shouted. The massive warship's lights flickered. Its weapons stopped firing. The other Vassar ships moved to protect it, breaking their attack on Earth's defenses. In the Earth Command Center, everyone cheered as they watched the Vassar flagship drift. The Vectu, Captain Park asked. Made it out. An officer confirmed. They're returning now. Tahoe felt a wave of relief, but he knew this was just the beginning. On the screen, War Commander Zurgan's face appeared. The alien had dark blue skin and 6 small horns on his head. His 4 eyes burned with anger. Impressive, humans, he growled. You damaged 1 ship, but we have more. This victory will cost you dearly. The transmission cut off. The Vassar ships regrouped into a defensive formation, withdrawing slightly to protect their damaged flagship. They're pulling back for now, Captain Park said. Good work, everyone. But this is just the first round. As the room filled with nervous chatter, Hiram returned to the command center. Her face was smudged with soot, but she was smiling. Lieutenant Kang, Tahoe said, walking over to her. That was either very brave or very foolish. Sometimes they're the same thing, she replied. But it worked. We showed them humans aren't easy targets. Tahoe nodded. They expected primitive defenses. Instead, they found a fight. 2 days after the first battle, Tahoe stood in a room filled with screens showing different parts of the solar system. The Vassar fleet had split up. 2 ships guarded the damaged flagship. The other 3 had moved to different positions around Earth. They're trying to surround us, Captain Park said, studying the displays. Classic Vassar encirclement formation. Tahoe replied. Velta's information says they've used this tactic for centuries. Director Jono entered the room, looking excited despite his exhaustion. We finished analyzing their communication patterns. The quantum jammers are ready. Quantum jammers? Hiram asked. She had been training more strike teams since their successful attack. Devices that block their faster-than-light communications. Director Jono explained. Without those, each ship will have to act alone instead of as a coordinated fleet. Captain Park nodded. Deploy them immediately and prepare our ships for the new battle plan. Tahoe looked at the plan on his tablet. It was unlike anything in Vassar military manuals. Earth ships would not form traditional battle lines or defensive clusters. Instead, they would use hit-and-run tactics, attacking from unexpected angles and retreating before the Vassar could respond. The Vassar military hasn't changed its basic tactics in over 1,000 years, Tahoe explained to the ship captains in the briefing room. They expect enemies to behave in predictable ways. They don't know how to handle unpredictability. One captain raised her hand. So we use chaos as a weapon. Exactly, Tahoe said. Humans are good at adapting. Vassar are not. Hiram stepped forward. My strike teams will target this Vassar cruiser first. She pointed to a ship near Earth's moon. It's isolated from the others and has the weakest shields according to our scans. As the briefing ended, Captain Park approached Tahoe. Commander Kim, you understand the Vassar better than anyone. I want you to coordinate the attack from the command center. Tahoe felt a weight of responsibility settle on him. Yes, Captain. The battle began at dawn. Earth activated the quantum jammers, cutting off the Vassar ships from each other. Then, instead of facing the aliens head-on, the human fleet split into small groups that attacked from multiple directions. In the command center, Tahoe directed the ships, using everything he had learned about Vassar tactics. Group 3, attack the port side of the cruiser, then immediately withdraw, he ordered. Group 5, prepare to hit their weapons array when they turn to respond. On the screens, Earth ships darted in and out like insects stinging a larger animal. The Vassar ships tried to maintain their formations, but without their communication network, they couldn't coordinate properly. One Vassar cruiser turned to chase a small group of Earth fighters, exposing its rear shields. Immediately, Hiram's voice came over the comm. This is *Vectu*. Target exposed. Commencing attack run. The stealth ship appeared behind the Vassar cruiser and fired at a specific point. Another weakness Velta had revealed. The cruiser's engines sputtered and died. Direct hit, Hiram reported. Their main power is down. The disabled cruiser drifted helplessly. Other Vassar ships tried to help, but Earth vessels kept them busy with constant attacks from changing directions. War Commander Zurgan's angry face appeared on the main screen. Your primitive tactics will not save you. The Vassar Collective has conquered worlds far more advanced than yours. Maybe so, Captain Park replied calmly. But I don't think you've faced humans before. As if to prove her point, another group of Earth ships successfully disabled a second Vassar vessel. Zurgan's 4 eyes widened in shock. Impossible. How are you predicting our movements? We're not, Tahoe said, stepping into view. That's what you don't understand. Humans don't fight according to patterns or rules. We adapt. We improvise. The alien commander's skin darkened with anger. This is not over. We have called for reinforcements. Soon, 100 ships will fill your skies. The transmission cut off. The room was silent for a moment. Is that true? Someone finally asked. 100 ships. Tahoe looked at the data from Velta. Unlikely. The Vassar fleet is stretched thin across their territory. They can maybe send 3 more ships, and those would take weeks to arrive. Captain Park smiled slightly. So Zurgan is bluffing. Yes, Tahoe said. And that means we're winning. On the screens, the remaining Vassar ships were retreating to defensive positions. 2 of their 6 warships were now disabled. You want me to do what? Hiram stared at Director Junho Lee in disbelief. They were in a small, secure room deep within Earth Defense Headquarters. The walls were designed to block all signals from getting in or out. Infiltrate the Vassar colony ship, Director Lee repeated calmly. His gray hair and lined face showed his age, but his eyes were sharp and clear. We need to know their true plans. Hiram looked at Tahoe, who seemed just as surprised. They had been called to this secret meeting right after reporting Velta's warning about military support. Sir, with all respect, that's incredibly dangerous, Tahoe said. Director Lee nodded. Yes, but necessary. Our scans show unusual energy readings from their ship. They're hiding something. He turned to Hiram. Lieutenant Kang, you have the best stealth training in the Corps. The Vassar have agreed to a cultural exchange. Some of our scientists will visit their ship tomorrow. You will go with them. Hiram took a deep breath. What exactly am I looking for? Anything that doesn't match their story. Weapons, military preparations, their real interest in our system. Director Lee handed her a small device. This will record and transmit data back to us. What about me? Tahoe asked. You'll continue diplomatic talks. Keep them busy. And Director Lee paused. Try to make contact with that young Vassar who helped you. Velta. She might be willing to share more information. The next day, Hiram boarded the shuttle to the Vassar ship with 5 human scientists. She wore the same white lab coat as them, but underneath she had a stealth suit and various devices hidden on her body. The Vassar colony ship was massive inside. High ceilings, wide corridors, and soft, blue-green lighting everywhere. Their Vassar guide showed them the main areas: living quarters, recreation spaces, and research labs. What about the colonists? One scientist asked. You mentioned 10,000 in stasis. The stasis chambers are restricted, the guide said quickly, for their safety. When the tour reached the science section, Hiram quietly slipped away during a demonstration. She activated her stealth suit, which didn't make her invisible but helped her blend with the shadows and avoid detection systems. She moved through restricted corridors, following the map they had created from scans of the ship. Something felt off about the layout. The colony ship had too many secure areas for a peaceful mission. After avoiding 2 guard patrols, Hiram found a large sealed door. Using a device that could hack simple locks, she got inside. What she saw made her freeze in shock. The room was filled with mining equipment, heavy machinery designed to extract minerals from planets and moons, and maps, detailed maps of Earth's solar system, with certain areas highlighted. She quickly scanned everything with her recording device. Then she found something even more alarming: a weapons storage room next door. Not defensive weapons, but heavy assault equipment. As she was recording this, she heard voices approaching. Hiram hid behind a large container just as 2 Vassar officers entered. The survey team was right about one thing, one said. This system is rich in xanthium. The 3rd planet alone has enough to power our fleet for decades. If we can get it, the other replied. These humans are more advanced than expected. It won't matter once the battle fleet arrives. War Commander Zurgan doesn't waste time with diplomacy. Hiram's heart raced. She needed to get this information back to Earth immediately. Meanwhile, Tahoe was meeting with Velta in a quiet corner of Harmony Station. They had been discussing Vassar culture, but Tahoe carefully steered the conversation toward the current situation. I'm curious why your people are so interested in our system specifically, he said. Velta looked around nervously before leaning closer. It's the xanthium. Your planet is rich in it. Xanthium, a rare mineral, essential for our faster-than-light technology. Her voice dropped to a whisper. It's becoming scarce in known space. Finding a new source is valuable. Valuable enough to risk a conflict. Velta's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. I should not be telling you this, but... She paused. Check your outer planets. The mining operations will begin there first, while the diplomacy keeps your attention here. Just then, Tahoe received an urgent message from Earth Command. Hiram had returned with critical information. As he excused himself, Velta grabbed his arm. Be careful, Tahoe. There's much more at stake than a colony. And War Commander Zurgan is not known for his patience or mercy. 2 weeks had passed since they sent the complaint to the Galactic Concord. Earth remained on high alert. The disabled Vassar ships had been repaired enough to move away, but the rest of their fleet still lurked at the edge of the solar system. Tahoe was in the command center when the sensors detected something new. Unknown ship entering the system, an officer reported. It's massive. Bigger than anything we've seen before. On the main screen, a sleek white vessel appeared. It was shaped like a perfect disk with a glowing blue ring around its edge. It moved with incredible speed, crossing the distance from Jupiter to Earth in minutes. Are our weapons ready? Captain Park asked, her voice tense. Yes, but Tahoe hesitated. This might be the Galactic Concord. Before anyone could respond, a new signal came through on all channels. Attention, vessels of Earth and the Vassar Collective. This is Arbitrator Kelmar of the Galactic Concord. We have received a formal complaint and are here to investigate. All military actions must cease immediately. The room erupted in excited whispers. It had worked. The meeting room on Harmony Station had been expanded to accommodate the Concord representatives. 3 different alien species sat at one end of the table. None of them looked like the Vazar. One had skin that seemed to shimmer like metal. Another had 6 arms and a head with no visible eyes. The third looked almost human except for its golden skin and white hair. At the other end sat the Earth delegation. Captain Park, Taiho, Hiram, and Director Junot. The Vassar, led by War Commander Zurgan and High Administrator Xenlo, sat reluctantly in the middle. The golden-skinned alien, Arbitrator Kelmar, spoke first. We have reviewed the complaint filed by Earth regarding the Vassar Collective's actions. We have also examined the evidence provided. War Commander Zurgan stood up. Whatever evidence you have is incomplete. The humans attacked our peaceful colony mission. Peaceful? Hiram couldn't help but interrupt. You brought warships and mining equipment. Arbitrator Kelmar raised a hand for silence. We have gathered our own evidence as well, including, the arbitrator paused, transmission logs from the Vassar High Command ordering the colonization of this system despite knowing it contained intelligent life. The Vassar delegation looked shocked. Xenlo's skin turned almost white. How did you? Zurgan began. We have our sources, Kelmar replied calmly. The Concord's decision is as follows. The Vassar Collective has violated 17 protocols of interstellar law. They must withdraw all military forces from this system immediately. They must pay reparations to Earth for damages, and Earth is hereby recognized as a sovereign world with all protections under Concord law. The Earth delegation could hardly believe what they were hearing. It was a complete victory. Furthermore, Kelmar continued, as Earth has demonstrated spacefaring capability and diplomatic readiness, we invite your world to begin the process of joining the Galactic Concord as a provisional member. Captain Park stood, her face solemn but her eyes shining. On behalf of Earth, we accept this invitation. War Commander Zurgan stormed out of the room, but High Administrator Xenblo remained, looking defeated. The Collective will comply with the Concord's ruling, he said quietly. 1 month later, Tejo stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station. Earth looked beautiful below, peaceful now that the Vassar ships had left. Hiram joined him at the window. The Concord ambassadors are impressed with how quickly we're adapting their technology. Director Junot says we'll have our first faster-than-light ship within a year. Amazing what humans can do when motivated, Tahoe said with a smile. Hiram moved closer to him. Over the past weeks, their relationship had grown beyond friendship. Last night, he had finally told her how he felt, and to his joy, she felt the same. Have you heard from Velta? Hiram asked. Yes, actually. The Concord gave her political asylum. She's going to be the liaison between Earth and the Concord scientists. So she's coming back. Next month. Tahoe took Hiram's hand. She'll be working with us on the new Earth exploration fleet. Captain Park wants us both as part of the command team. Hiram squeezed his hand. I never imagined when this all started that it would end with us joining the galactic community. The Vassar made a mistake, Tahoe said. They forgot to check if we were still primitive. But their mistake opened the stars to us. On the station below them, teams of humans and Concord engineers worked together, building the future. Earth's first official embassy to the stars was under construction. Soon, human representatives would travel to the Concord headquarters, the first of many journeys into the wider galaxy.